We've got some basic data, but I want to use some formulas now to analyze this data. How can I do that? Formulas in Excel are the same as formulas in Google Sheets. You can, if you know Excel formulas, you can put them directly here in Google Sheets also. Let's say I want to calculate total enrollment. So I'll right click and insert one column to the left, and I'll call this total enrollment. I'll delete all this, and here I want to, let me just enter some data below this also. So I'll just copy this here. Now total enrollment will be the sum of these two columns. So I'll click equals sum, and you see it is automatically recommending to me I2 to J2. This is where Google Sheets is different from Excel. It makes a lot of recommendations which are helpful in certain scenarios. So here it already knows that sum can only be for boys and girls here, because before that any other data is not really relevant for calculating the sum. So if it is correct to your use case, you can either just press enter, or you can click on this and it has added the formula here. Now when I go and click below it, it shows an autofill suggestion, and the suggestion will be the same as the formula above. So I just accept this, and there you go. It has automatically added the sum formula. You can see here it has added the sum formula on its own to all the cells below this one. If you were to do it again, let me just clear this, and if I just press equals, you see it's already recommending sum I2 to J2, and I can just click this to select, and then when I click on next one, it suggests I press the check button, and there you go, it's already added the sum formula directly. If I want to calculate the sum of this whole column, I'll just press equals, and see it's recommending sum of K2 to K10 on its own. So I'll select that and done. Similarly, if I were to do this, it's doing that here. You see how quickly I'm able to enter all the formulas. The basic sum and average and these kind of formulas, they're very basic, and Google Sheets is able to recommend to you very quickly. It helps you move very quickly in your Google Sheets file. Another thing where Google Sheets provides you some extra information than Excel is, say you've selected some cells. In Excel, you can see the sum value of those cells below, right? So here we have both text and some number cell selected. So what it is showing me is the sum of all the numbers. But if I click on it, I can also see the average, the minimum, the maximum, and the count of total number of cells, and how many of those cells have numbers in them. You see, we have selected 2 by 5, so we've selected 10 cells here, and it is showing count 10. But out of these, 8 have numbers and 2 do not have numbers, so it's showing count numbers 8. The largest number is 38, the minimum number is 24, average it has calculated already, and I can see it. Of course, I can always use a formula to calculate it as well, but sometimes if I need to just quickly see something, it's very helpful. I just select the data and it can show me the sum. Simple as that. So in these ways, Google Sheets, when it comes to basic formatting and data validation and some formulas, it's very similar. The one other thing where it is also similar is filtering data. And how do you filter data? What you do is you just select the top row, the header row, then you go on this more options and you select this funnel. You see it says create a filter. When I click on this, same as Excel, it is showing me the filter menu next to every cell. Let's say I want to filter all the Department of Education schools. So I'll just go management, I'll clear all the ones and select Department of Education. Okay, and simple filter. It's the same as Excel. And if I just select all, okay, and the data is back. If I want to remove filters from a selection, I'll simply press this remove filter button and the filters are gone. This is the same as Excel. There's no difference here. Now, the next thing that we'll look at is how pivot tables work in Google Sheets. The basic idea of pivot tables is the same as in Excel, but just the interface is a little bit different. So let's go to this sheet here. This sheet has a lot more data. So I'll select all the data with Control A and I'll say insert pivot table. and I'll create a pivot table in a new sheet. So I'll click on create. You see the pivot table editor is just a little bit different to how it looks in Microsoft Excel. Here it shows you some suggestions on how on what data you can already use in the pivot table. So it shows me that I can see the sum of total enrollment and total teachers for each district and block. If I just click on this, it will automatically do that for me, right? But if I want to do something else, I'll clear this, and it's showing me all the columns here. So I'll put district as rows. It's showing me the district there. I'll put the block under district, so it's showing me all the blocks as well. Now in the values, I want to see boys enrollment and I replaced boys enrollment. I'll want to see boys enrollment and girls enrollment. And if I want to add a filter, I'll add a filter for management, and currently it is showing all items. So I'll change the filter from here to, instead of all items, I only want to see the government sponsored schools. I'll click OK, and there you go. The pivot table is ready. And what is the pivot table showing us? It is showing us all the data for every district and block. It's showing me the sum of boys enrollment and the sum of girls enrollment, but the data is filtered by management for only government sponsored management. You see, the basic concept of pivot table is the same. It's just that the interface is a little bit different. If we try to create one more pivot table, okay, let me clear this again. Now I want to just see data by management. So I'll put management as rows, and I'll put highest class as columns. Now for every management, I have highest class, which is 10, 12, 4, 5, 8. Okay. And now I want to see the total teachers. I'll put total teachers as values here. And there you go. If I were to close this, I can see that, let me make this bigger. For Department of Education, there are 462 total teachers, where the highest class is class 10. And for Madrasa recognized, there are 461 total teachers in schools where the highest class is class 8. That's how pivot tables work. And if you ever want to change a pivot table, you just press the edit button here, and this menu will show up again, and you can always edit it. Same as Excel, just slightly different interface. Now with this, we've covered the very basics of Google Sheets. It works the same way as Microsoft Excel. The formatting is the same, the filtering is the same, the formulas are the same. You have all the same formulas available here. What you have in Microsoft Excel, say you want to use the count formula, count if formula, you want to use the general if formula, even VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP is also available. You want to use the index and match, those functions are also available. So concat functions is also available. Date related functions are also available. So you have all of those functions available, same as Excel in Google Sheets. There are a few extra formulas also, and one of them that I would like to share with you, which might be helpful, is the Google Translate function. So say I have some text here, which is say West Bengal, and I want to convert this into Hindi or Bangla or any other language. So I'll use the formula equals Google Translate. I'll select this text. My source language is going to be English, so EN, and my target language is going to be Hindi. I'll enter the formula, and you'll see it automatically translated West Bengal to Paschim Bengal in Hindi here. And if you want to do it in Bangla, let me just give it headings: English, Hindi, Bangla. It's the same formula, Google Translate. I'll select the English text, source language is English, and for Bengali it is BN. I'll close. There you go. It's automatically translated it. And this translation, if you try to double click on it to edit it, you can't edit because it's a formula. So if you actually want to edit a translation, you have to first copy it, and then you have to paste it but not as a formula, not as a simple value. You have to paste the values only. Now you see this Pashchim Bengal has been pasted as Pashchim Bengal, whereas this one is the formula that is converting this English value into Hindi. So if you ever want to edit something that is translated using this formula, you first copy it and paste the value, and then you can edit it. And just like in Excel, you have multiple paste options also. In edit, if you go, you have this paste special. You can paste values only, format only. You can paste as transposed also. So if I were to select this, copy it, and now I want to paste it as transposed, I'll go edit, paste special, transposed. It has transposed the what were the columns and rows have now become the rows and columns. Same as Excel.